family values and financial freedom, aligning your money with what matters most. 3 years ago, my daughter Gia drew our family standing in front of what she called our dream house. But something was off. She'd drawn me alone at a distance, separated from everyone else. "That's you working every day, Mom," she explained when I asked. That single moment hit me harder than a decade of financial seminars ever could. You see, I had been working a 9-to-5 job for years, thinking I was doing it for my family, when in reality, I was doing it away from my family. I am living paycheck to paycheck. I am providing for my family. But the disconnect between my money and my family's actual values was growing even faster. Today, I'm going to share the exact system that not only transformed our family's relationship with money, but has now helped me and my family create what I call value-centered wealth, where every dollar you earn, save, and spend becomes a direct expression of what matters most to you. This isn't just another how to budget video. This is about creating a financial life with soul. Hey there, this is Work Smart Empire, where we help busy parents build wealth through smart productivity systems. If you're new here, this channel is all about combining financial freedom strategies with practical productivity hacks specifically designed for parents with limited time. Today's video is part of our Foundational Mindset series, where we're exploring how to align your money with your deepest family values. Here's what most financial experts get wrong. They treat money as the destination rather than the vehicle. They'll tell you how to grow your wealth, but they rarely help you clarify why you're growing it in the first place, beyond vague notions of security or freedom. The result? Millions of families working themselves to exhaustion chasing financial goals that don't actually reflect what they care about most. What I'm about to share isn't taught in financial planning courses. It's a framework I developed after that wake-up call from my daughter's drawing. One that we are using, and I have shared this with my friends too, so that they can create true alignment between their money and their most cherished values. The values-money disconnect. Before we get into the solution, we need to understand why this disconnect happens in the first place. Most families experience 3 major disconnects between their values and their finances. Disconnect number 1, undefined values. Many families have never explicitly defined what matters most to them. They have vague notions about family time or security, but they've never gotten specific enough to translate these into financial decisions. For example, a family might say they value quality time together, but then work overtime hours for years to afford a bigger house that actually gives them less time together. Without clearly defined values, financial decisions happen in a vacuum. Disconnect number 2. Inherited money scripts. We all carry subconscious money scripts, beliefs about money that we inherited from our parents, culture, and early experiences. These scripts often override our conscious values without us even realizing it. I experienced this myself when I kept prioritizing saving over experiences, even though my stated family value was creating memories together. I realized I was running an old script from my Depression-era grandparents that money saved equals safety rather than making decisions based on my actual family values. Disconnect number 3. Social comparison. In today's social media world, we're constantly bombarded with images of what other families have and do. This creates what psychologists call reference anxiety, the feeling that your family should have or do what other families have or do. When we make financial decisions based on keeping up with others rather than aligning with our unique family values, we end up with what I call borrowed goals, objectives that look good to others but don't actually fulfill us. The result of these 3 disconnects? Financial decisions that don't create the life you actually want, regardless of your income level. The values discovery process. The first step in creating alignment is to clearly identify your family's core values. This isn't just a nice-to-have exercise. It's the foundation of every financial decision you'll make going forward. Here's the 4-step values discovery process I guide families through. Step 1. Individual reflection. Before bringing the family together, each adult should independently answer these 3 questions. What were the 3 most meaningful moments of your life so far? What do you want your children to say about their childhood when they're adults? If you had only 5 years left to live, how would you spend your time and resources? These questions bypass your logical brain and tap into your emotional core, where true values reside. Step 2. Values extraction. Look at your answers and identify the underlying values. For example, if one of your meaningful moments was a family camping trip, the underlying values might be adventure, nature connection, and family bonding. Create a list of 5 to 7 core values that emerged from your reflection. These might include things like family connection, health and well-being, learning and growth, financial security, giving back, adventure and exploration, spiritual growth. Step 3. Family values conversation. Now bring the family together, including children if they're old enough to participate, usually age 5+. Share your individual values and look for common themes. The goal is to create a final list of 3 to 5 family values that everyone connects with. These should be specific enough to guide decisions but broad enough to encompass different expressions. For example, instead of just family time, you might define the value as creating meaningful connections through quality time together. Step 4. Values visualization. The final step is to make these values tangible. Create visual representations of your values that you can display in your home. My family created a values wall featuring photos that represent each core value. We created simple icons for each value displayed on our refrigerator. The key is making your values visible in daily life. When we completed this process in our family, we were surprised to discover that adventure and new experiences ranked much higher than comfort and stability, something we had never explicitly recognized before. This single insight completely changed our financial priorities, leading us to invest less in home upgrades and more in family travel experiences. The financial alignment audit. Once you've clearly identified your family values, the next step is to audit your current financial life to see where alignment already exists and where disconnects are happening. This audit has 3 components. Component 1, time alignment. Pull out your calendar and analyze how you spend your time over a typical month. Calculate the percentage of your waking hours spent in activities that directly connect to each of your core values. For example, if health and well-being is a core value, but you're only spending 2% of your time on health-related activities, there's a significant misalignment. Component 2, money alignment. This is where we get into the financial details. Pull your last 3 months of expenses and categorize them according to your values. For example, if learning and growth is a core value, what percentage of your spending went toward education, books, courses, or experiences that expanded your family's horizons? Most families are shocked to discover that less than 20% of their spending directly aligns with their stated values, while over 50% goes to categories they never even identified as important. Component 3, energy alignment. The final component is more subjective but equally important. For each major area of your life, work, home, relationships, etc., rate how much the energy you invest aligns with your core values. For instance, if you value creativity but your job requires rigid conformity, there's an energy misalignment that will eventually create tension, regardless of how well the job pays. I recommend creating a simple spreadsheet with your values listed in rows and these 3 components, time, money, energy, as columns. Rate the alignment in each cell from 1 to 10. Any score below 6 represents an opportunity for realignment. Don't try to fix everything at once. Start with the lowest scores, as these represent the biggest disconnects between your values and your current reality. When my family completed this audit, we realized we had a major misalignment in our housing situation. We valued simplicity and financial freedom, yet we were spending 40% of our income on a home that required constant maintenance and tied up our resources. This insight led us to stop dreaming of a bigger house because we value a more manageable home, freeing up both time and money to invest in our other values. The values-based financial system. Now that you've identified your values and audited your current alignment, it's time to create a financial system that automatically aligns your money with what matters most. This system has 5 components. Component 1. Values-based budgeting. Traditional budgeting starts with expense categories. Values-based budgeting starts with your core values and then allocates resources accordingly. For example, if family adventure is a core value, you would create a specific budget category for this and fund it before discretionary categories that don't connect to your values. I recommend using what I call the values-first cash flow system. 10% of income automatically goes to each of your top 3 to 5 values. 50 to 60% goes to essential needs, housing, food, transportation, etc. The remainder is split between future security and discretionary spending. Component 2. Values-aligned banking structure. Create separate accounts for each of your core values. When money comes in, it's automatically distributed to these accounts first. For example, if education and growth is a core value, you might have a dedicated account where 10% of all income is automatically deposited. This money is specifically for investments in learning and development for family members. This structure ensures your values get funded first, not last, which is what happens in most traditional financial systems. Component 3. Values-based decision filter. Create a simple decision-making framework based on your values. Before any significant financial decision, run it through this filter by asking, how does this decision support or detract from each of our core values? Is there an alternative that would better align with our values? If we make this choice, what are we saying no to in terms of our values? This filter prevents impulsive decisions that might feel good in the moment but create long-term misalignment. Component 4. Regular values money conversations. Schedule monthly values money meetings with your partner and quarterly family financial conversations that include the kids, adjusted for age appropriateness. These aren't just about reviewing numbers. They're about reconnecting financial decisions to your core values and celebrating alignment wins. For example, instead of just discussing that you saved $500 this month, you would talk about how that $500 brings you closer to your value of family security or future education opportunities. Component 5. Values-based wealth metrics. Redefine what wealth means for your family based on your values. Create metrics that measure true wealth, not just financial assets. For example, if family connection is a core value, one of your wealth metrics might be number of meaningful family experiences per month alongside traditional metrics like net worth or savings rate. We implemented this system in our family. We created what we call our Family Freedom Fund, money specifically allocated to creating time freedom and location independence, which are our top family values. This fund gets funded before almost anything else, and it's changed how we think about career decisions, housing choices, and lifestyle options. We've covered a lot today, from understanding the values money disconnect to creating a complete values-based financial system. The beauty of this approach is that it works regardless of your income level. I've seen families making $40,000 a year achieve greater alignment and satisfaction than those making $400,000, simply because they've intentionally connected their money to what truly matters to them. Remember, the goal isn't to accumulate the most money. It's to create a life that richly expresses your family's unique values and priorities. If you found this valuable, here's what to do next. Number 1. Download the free Values Money Alignment Worksheet. Link in description. Number 2. Schedule your first values discovery session with your family this week. Number 3. Share one insight you gained from this video in the comments below. Number 4. Subscribe and hit the notification bell for the next video in our Foundational Mindset series. Remember, true financial freedom isn't just about having enough money. It's about aligning your money with what matters most. See you in the next video.